Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another weekly edition of Timeout Talks with Ben and Josh, streaming on the Kirk Minahan Show Network, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and on Rumble. Timeout Talks is brought to you by Chase and Throws custom t-shirts and accessories, the Ice Shaker, Make It Mac, and now proudly a part of the Kirk Minahan Network. Ben got his Ice Shaker there. We are off and rolling. Last week we were talking a little bit about the NFL draft. We got our mock draft picks. Of course, we weren't going to hit it out of the ballpark in any type of fashion with those. But guess what? We will give you our reactions, our recap to the mock draft. And of course, the Bruins got a big game 5 coming on right about now. That's a huge game. We will give you our predictions, our preview for that, as well as the Boston Celtics Game 5. 2 Boston teams can clinch things and move on to the next round. So we will talk about both of those, and we'll get a little bit into the whole field in the NHL and the NBA, get into some potential later round matchups. But before we do, Ben, just glad to be back, and it's a good time to be a Boston fan.
Always great to be back here, Josh. Talking sports with you, especially as you just mentioned, this time, playoff time, we got the Bruins and Celtics rolling. Just happy the Bruins got that dub. Just happy the Bruins are rolling. Always sweet to get the upper hand on the Maple Leafs. Don't want to get too carried away, even though it's sort of the breaking news. That's why we wanted to start with the Bruins first. Obviously, they're starting right now. I know we're probably competing with them, Josh. I know it's a pretty tough matchup, us and it's in the Bruins. So we forgive everyone if they don't want to watch us and watch them. Totally understandable. But Austin Matthews being out's huge, Josh, giving us huge motivation right there. Huge opening to get this series win. But just overall excited to be back. Can't wait for the Celtics series either, Josh. But sticking with the Bruins, starting off right now. Let's just get this. Let's wrap it up right here, Josh. Can't let it go another game. Don't want Matthews back on the ice against us. We got to wrap it up here. I know it's going to be tough in Toronto, but we already got that first one out the way. If they were going to get anything, I think they were going to get one right there with the whole Toronto, that crazy arena they got, that watching party. They get wild. They'll give it to Toronto in that aspect. They get after it. They get their fans rowdy, Josh. They get excited for the games. But I think we just took the souls out of them a little with that one. That was a deflating loss. And now, obviously, with this Matthews, Matthews not playing this one, obviously, illness. I think this is perfect timing for them. Perfect storm for the Bruins. Got to take advantage. And let's get this done, Josh.
Oh, 100%, Ben. I thought you said it perfectly. Austin Matthews not there in the warm-ups. Earlier on, it was kind of already iffy on whether or not he was going to play. Game time decision. Their leading goal scorer, their best player, arguably. Not even arguably in the league. The heart and soul of that team. And as Ben said, they are just beaten down, battered. They're coming back to Boston tonight. Good friggin' luck. And today, Tyler actually made a great point. Today marks a year, I believe, since the Bruins blew the series against the Florida Panthers. So they've got all that momentum. They've got the home crowd, Ben, as you mentioned, a beaten down Toronto team. And again, we just went into Toronto and basically put the dagger in. 2 games in a row on the road. They looked great. Swayman been unbelievable since he's been back in the crease. It's his crease to stay. And Ben, this team, when they play physical, when they get more shots on net, good things are going to happen. And another huge criticism for the Boston Bruins, dating back to even the Tuukka Rask days, was what are we going to get out of this first line? Is the first line going to step up? Are they going to be productive? Is Brad Marchand going to go missing? Is Pastrnak going to get hurt? None of that has happened. Brad Marchand coming off a multi-point game last game. Pastrnak doing his thing. Again, the goalie play has been so consistent from Jeremy Swayman. He's really grabbing those brass knuckles to be, the night in and night out goaltender moving forward. I don't know what they'll do with Ullmark, but that's a discussion and that's a problem for later on. Right now, Ben, things are looking great. Let's go home. Let's be at home tonight. Let's get on the board early. Let's get more shots on net. And let's look ready for a rematch against Florida. I mean, this Ben right here, just a quick little glimpse here. I can quickly get the Timeout Talks thing off there for you guys. But this is a quick little glimpse of how it will look. As you can see, Florida and the Rangers just absolutely dominating. Both moving on to the second round. On the other side, you've got the Dallas Stars, Vegas Golden Knights. Ben, I think that might be the best series just of all of them in the first round. Colorado looking to move on forward, same with the Canucks and same with the Oilers. That'll be an interesting one. But our next matchup, if we can finish it again, if not
if keyword if
has been our next matchup would be against the Florida Panthers in a little rematch. I don't know, Ben. That's a tough task.
Oh yeah, no, especially just great little graphic right there from Josh too. Shout out Josh on that one. Nice little layout for there. But as he laid out, the Panthers just sort of took care of the Lightning easily. Just got rid of them. Thought that was going to be a little more of a fight from the Lightning in that one. But looking like the passing of the guard from them, Josh. That team, 2 Stanley Cup championships, so many finals appearances, so dominant for so long. Victor Hedman, Stamkos, we know those guys struck fear in us. They had our number for a while, but I think that series just kind of was a little dagger for them. I think they just got to figure out what they're going on. What's going on? What's their future like? They still got a couple key pieces around them. Brandon Point's still over there. Got a couple young guys. I heard Subban talking about it on PTI earlier. So there's some guys over there. I just don't remember their names, but there are some guys over there that could sort of carry that torch from Stamkos and Hedman. But the Lightning are in trouble. The Lightning might have to have a big sort of regroup, sort of rebuild on the move, you should say. But I'm excited for this Panthers, Josh. I want this Panthers team. We need to avenge that series last year. Not going to be easy either. I mean, they're one of the most talented and most depthful teams in the NHL. They just got, especially Barkov. I mean, Barkov, one of the best in the league, but they just got depth for days over there at each position. So it's going to be a tough task for us, especially with the lesser team. I think, obviously last year was a better team, but I like what I'm seeing right now from our guys. Let's just finish off this Maple Leaf series, and then we can worry about them. But I'm eyeing that Panthers one, Josh. I'm excited for it. And another key point from you, the Marchand one, that was perfect. Marchand was non-existent in the early, at the back end of the season and early in this playoff series. We needed him to move forward in this one. We weren't going to win it without him. Thank God he's here. It was a huge game last game. Shout out to Marchand. Basically just put us on his back. And that's what we need. That's what we need from our sort of first line, as Josh pointed out. Stars need to step up, and then we can advance in these series. We can actually make some moves. But I digress. I'm excited, for that potential matchup, Josh, but got to finish out the Leafs. Great as you said, getting those 2 wins over in Toronto. Just got to finish the job now. Perfectly set up. But the Bruins always blow this stuff. The Bruins always tend to blow these perfect opportunities, as we all know. They kind of choke sometimes. I don't want to be too down on them, Josh. So obviously started this game off. Don't want to get too down on them, but I'm not going to go easy on them. We got to get this game and then move on. That's it.
And it's hard not to go easy on them. I mean, they make it difficult on themselves. Last year, as we're talking about with the Panthers, I mean, this has the recipe written for disaster all over it. But I think they have a different feel, Ben, and this is something that is interesting. I know we're still in this series with the Toronto Maple Leafs, but just looking forward, because by the next time we could be talking, we could be already in the midst of the new series. I think people are underestimating this Bruins team a little bit. I know they've kind of been the team that I've stuck by throughout this season. I said that they would win a series. I said maybe they could even win 2. And let's just say this. The Bruins are going to keep it a series against the Florida Panthers if they do somehow, most likely will, find a way to end it tonight or even Thursday, which you don't want to go back to Toronto for Game 6. But again, one of those days, I think that they do have the capability of finishing it. But I'll get to Zach's comment in a second. But I do think we can hang around with the Panthers. I know that they've got a lot of star power. I know that they've kind of got the keys dangling above us. But again, I think that this Bruins team can compete. And it all comes down to one thing, and it comes down to the goalie, who has been unbelievable. You're going to get as far as your goalie will take you. Look at last year, Ben. They were the best team. They were the President's Trophy, all that stuff, historical season. And then the goaltending really kind of just crapped the bed, shit the bed in the postseason. That was the end of that. Hey, now you look at the Bruins team right now, Swayman, even Olmark, even in that game that they lost, I thought he played pretty decent. But again, aside from that, the goaltending's been great. Bruins look good. They can finish on tonight. We'll move forward. We'll talk a little bit more about the Florida Panthers, obviously, when they get there or if they get there. But things are looking bright right now. And Zach, I mean, this is our time. Tuesday, Ben was saying it too. It's going to be tough draw to go head to head with the Bruins. But hey, if you're watching the game, you want to comment, you want to get your live reactions out, this is the place to do it. You can put us on your one screen, put the Bruins on the other screen. And, you know, Zach right now saying, I agree with him 100%. Olmark lost his playing privileges for the rest of the playoffs, gives the keys to Sway. I don't know about the rest of the playoffs, but I mean, you're not wrong. I think you got to ride the hot hand, and I think Swayman is that right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna backtrack on that second one. You sort of mentioned it too, Josh, right there. Olmark didn't play awful in that loss. I think the defense just collapsed, and we went 8 minutes without a shot in that third period. I think we went from the 14-minute mark to 6 minutes without a shot on goal. And Toronto just capitalized. Toronto just outplayed us in that game too. They wanted more. They outplayed us in pretty much every facet, except the power play. Beat them on the power play. Well, that's only going to take you so far. So I'm not totally out on Olmark, but again, I love agreeing with Josh. Hey, shout out to Nick C. Appreciate that. I love agreeing with Josh on this one, but it's just, you got to ride Swayman, I think, right now. I think he's just got the Maple Leafs number. You got to ride it out. And yeah,
thank you, Nick.
That. I love that. I like that, Nick. Hopefully no sarcasm, but I still love it with some sarcasm too. I still like it either way. But no, I think you got to rate Swayman in that one. This one, I think you go back to the rotating goalies, obviously in the next series. I like that. Now, there we go. I like that. Here we go. Get a little confirmation on it, but no, I think you ride Swayman in this one. He's got the Maple Leafs number. You go back to the rotating goaltenders in the next one. See which, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But I think Swayman I think he's just got the Maple Leafs number, Josh. You just can't deny that, especially with this team, just the way they choke and sort of their mental hurdles that the Maple Leafs go through every year. I think you just got to ride that.
And we've got a couple. No, you're good, Nick. Come on, Nick, man. Hop in here. I
just love interrupting with comments, makes the show, go by a little faster too. We want to get those comments in there. Come on.
We got Nick squared in here. Yeah, man. We love the comments, even if it's troll or if it's not. We appreciate it.
I like the trolls a little more.
Troll if it is a troll.
I like the trolls a little more.
Who doesn't? But Bruins got a chance to end it tonight. They are live right now as we're speaking. I'm checking. I'm literally on it. They're 0-0 right now, 17:32 in the first and counting. We will keep you live updated throughout the rest of our show. All the goals, we'll try to get you to that. So if you're watching both, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Secondly, here, another team in a similar situation. We kind of alluded to this at the beginning of the show, the Boston Celtics, who have steamrolled the Heat in the last two games. Last week, me and Ben were kind of on the show like, what the hell's going on? It felt kind of like the ceiling in the sky was falling. We didn't know what was going to happen. Even just watching this past game, you're looking, oh my God, Kristaps Porzingis is hurt. This whole friggin' thing all over again. But hey, it's all right. The Celtics get a big win. They're up 3-1 coming back to Boston. I mean, if we think the Bruins have a chance of winning tonight, the chances are high. It's even higher for this Boston Celtics team. No Jimmy Butler. Jaime out. He is inactive tomorrow. All points are pointing towards the Boston Celtics ending this. And Ben, I'm going to be completely honest. The next matchup, which I'm going to get you right here, same thing here. Get it right to you guys here. If I was to say the Celtics are either going to play the Cavs or the Magic, at most, I think the Magic maybe have the potential of being swept. Maybe they win a game versus us. And the Cavs, maybe they win a game, maybe two. I think the Cavs could maybe sneak a game, but you got to love this road for the Celtics right now. I mean, it's looking really good.
All right, perfect, Josh. I think it's all lining up. Obviously, except from the sort of biggest mistake, not biggest mistake, biggest hurdle, I should say, and that was the biggest hurdle all year. Sort of not plaguing this team at times, but the Porzingis injury threat, scare. Both actually, I'm going to say both kind of work right there, but this was always looming over this team, Josh. This was the biggest concern with the trade, even though I think that trade sort of worked itself out. I think Drew Holiday and Derek White are making us not really miss Marcus Smart too much. And I was a huge Marcus Smart guy, but I'm really not missing him too much, especially after that Derek White performance last night and just Drew Holiday. Oh yeah, unbelievable! Shout out to Ray and Chaz for hitting that bet. They had a nice little bet, 20 plus Derek White points. Had that pretty much over in the first half. Made a nice little money on that. That was like plus 300 something. So shout out to them for that one. Shout out Derek White. But I think for this one, the Heat, this series over. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the Heat.
Sorry, Jeff.
I know Jeff's throwing that one in there. Perfect timing from Josh. That's why he's the best producer right there too. I'm sorry, Jeff. We don't have to do this. We don't have to worry about this Heat. As Josh laid out, 2 Jaime's out. The Heat have unfortunately just got the injuries just piled up. I'm sorry for the Heat fans. They just piled up too much for them to overcome. Jimmy Butler not being there was the biggest, one that was probably already had them the biggest setback in this series. That just put them so far away from winning this series. And now just all these other ones piling up. Just too much for the Heat right now. And this is huge for us just to get some rest for Porzingis. Because it's going to be 17 days, Josh. Me and Josh talking about this a little before the show. 17 days he's going to be out. It's equivalent to 6 games for the playoff schedule. So, obviously you miss one for the Heat game, sweep, we get this last one. And then you go into this next game, possibly not, without 4 games without him in that one. I know everyone's kind of worried, Josh. I'm not that worried. I'm not that worried. I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to play cool. 43-14 with him, 21-4 without him. This team really runs, through this core of Jaylen Brown and Tatum. As long as that core is doing well, I think Porzingis just puts us at an elite category, where the Nuggets and T-Wolves and all these sort of other emerging Western teams can't really reach us at that level. But without him, it's a little tougher. So I think in the next series, obviously, I think we can get it through the magic of the Cavs without him. I think we can do that, even though the Cavs scare me a little with that size, but I think the Porzingis injury, we got to calm down a little with it. Everyone's going a little crazy. I think we got to calm down with it. But
Maple Leafs are on the board. Just want to say that 1-0.
Maybe we spoke too soon. Maybe we spoke too soon about that. That's not good. And hey, Nick from Boston, shout out Nick from Boston. He wanted to talk Celtics too. Josh had a nice little transition too. Great, nice transition into that one. So we got your Celtics talk, Nick. But no, I don't think you really necessarily need him against the Knicks. What, Hartenstein? You think Hartenstein's going to give us problems or whatever that guy's name is? Mitchell Robinson too. I don't know. I think we can take care of the Knicks. That Jalen Brunson story is great. I think they really found, an emerging superstar, Josh, with him. I think, good for the Knicks. They've been so bad. Yeah, they've been so bad for so many years. I like seeing MSG in these playoff atmospheres, seeing all celebrities down there. MSG is a great, environment over there. I'll give New York that one. Great one over there. Hey, shout out to Tony on that one. OKC, let's go OKC. I'm loving that OKC one over there for the West, but I think we can get past the Knicks. I think, Tatum and Brown, our superstar power, can overpower Brunson. I think, Brunson's power eventually, is going to come. That team will eventually come back down to earth a little. The 76ers, another team just been by injuries, and I think Embiid's just not fully healthy right now. So I think Knicks take advantage of that, but I don't think we need him against the Knicks necessarily, Josh. I think we get past him.
I agree. I think the Knicks, out of all the remaining teams, are probably the best matchup. I mean, just looking at our regular season, they played us super, super tough. I think, as you mentioned, shout out Jalen Brunson. This is the budding of a superstar. We're witnessing that with our own eyes. Into Nixie's question, I know that the Pacers gave us a couple, knocks to the mouth early in the season, and everybody was kind of freaking out and, oh, damn, can the Pacers, if they get far, if they get that next star, which they ended up trading for Pascal Siakam, we even came on this show, me and you bantered, we debated, can the Indiana Pacers give the Celtics a hard time? Can they stand in their way? I think right now what we are witnessing is a product of non-star players being there for the Milwaukee Bucks. I think that's what it all comes down to. I think the Milwaukee Bucks would still be in the Eastern Conference Finals. Again, I'm going to live and die on that hill. I know that they are literally pressed up against the wall right now, down 3-1. They're about to get their lunch money taken. But again, they're going to get their lunch money taken without their two biggest and baddest bullies on the court in Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's arguably the best player in the world. I think, again, Celtics breeze through the Magic or the Cavs, 5 games max. I think, as Ben mentioned, and again, you sit down Porzingis for that series too. There is no need to rush him back into the fold. We're talking conference finals at the most. He should be back. That's what I would do. And back to Ben and Nick's point here. I'll get to the Doc Rivers one in a second, but I think it's just a matter of the wear down for the Knicks. You know, they don't have Julius Randle, as you mentioned. I know Bojan's kind of been hurt, and they're kind of like they've got a lot of great players. I love Jalen Brunson. I'm blanking on the other kid. Is it McBride? Is pretty good for them. I know
Darius McBride. They got OG.
Yep.
Anunoby.
Anunoby's been
nice
pretty solid. They've got good players. I think that they can beat the Pacers. I think that'll be a hell of a series too. But again, I think that this Boston Celtics team has way too much star power, as Ben has kind of mentioned as well. I know Kristaps Porzingis is going down, but when you have guys like Derek White, who's arguably the fourth option, I know him and Drew Holiday are both kind of tied nod there, are dropping 37 points, while Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are kind of just taking a seat back. It makes things a lot easier for you. And I know I get on Pritchard and everything, but he's played okay in the games that they've won. Everybody on the Celtics team has done everything that they've had to do. I honestly think I'm going to live and die on this hill. They will not see a Game 7 until the NBA Finals, which we'll talk a little bit more about the other side of the things in the NBA, which it's going to start with this one. Nick from Boston saying, why do teams keep hiring Doc Rivers? I'll keep my answer short and sweet. I know Giannis didn't like the last coach, and I think he was the one with the best resume there, and I think that's why they wanted him, Ben. But all I will say is his track record of joining teams and just kind of blowing leads and not getting as far as he should with talent is not looking too good, besides that Boston Celtics championship in 08, Ben. Thanks, Brian. You're in here watching with us, so thanks for being one of those. Yeah, we'll make it 3. We'll make it 3, Brian. You are one of those people watching, so thanks for joining, buddy.
Shout out, Brian. I like my guy. But no, to the other Knicks point right there, it's a good one. I don't know why. I don't know why they keep hiring Doc Rivers. I thought Doc had a nice little cushy analyst gig. I know that Bucks job's pretty tempting. Giannis, Dame, and Middleton, you don't really have to coach anything. And this kind of just proved that you didn't really have to do much with this team. And he still kind of fumbled it and just messed it all up. I know, obviously, you can't control the Giannis injury. I'm being a little too hard on that one. Would this series be totally different with Giannis, obviously? And to the other Knicks point, Nick C., I'd be a little more scared of the Pacers. I kind of forgot to mention that when I kind of went in a little Knicks rant, but I'd be a little more scared of the Pacers over the Knicks right now, to be honest. Pacers are playing really well. But, yeah, from Boston's point, yeah, I don't know why they keep hiring Doc Rivers. I think this one's pretty much the nail in the coffin. I think he might have screwed up the analyst gig, too. With this one, I don't know how he's going to come back from this. I don't know. Somebody will probably put him on a little post-game show or pre-game show, but this one's tough to come. This one's going to be tough to come back from, and I don't think he will be. I think he's just going to ride off into the sunset or whatever he's going to be doing, and just go work for somewhere else. Josh, I'm sorry, Doc. He'll always have a special place to us, for that championship. But I think it's time to hang it up.
100%. And Charlie O'Donnell, Cavs are the second best team in the East. I have a hard time agreeing with that. I think it's the Knicks and.
He likes the Knicks. Josh is on his Knicks.
Or the Pacers even. I don't. It's hard for me to sit here and say that when they're 2-2 right now against the Orlando Magic, who have no business even being in this series. I know they play team scrappy, you know, they've beaten us a couple times, but I don't know. Something about the Cavs, they're just not there yet. I think that this Knicks team is probably going to be the toughest matchup. Maybe we beat them in 6. I think the Knicks could take a couple games. I really do. But that's kind of just my thoughts on that. I don't know, Ben. You think they're the second best team in the East, Cavs?
Yeah, I think so. I think they'd be the second best team. I got that. I like that one for them. I mean, I don't see anybody who else, Josh. I mean, as you sort of pointed out with the Bucks.
My boy Nick.
Yeah, boy Nick. With the Bucks, Nick, injury problems. Yeah, with the injury problems, now they're out. I'd probably put the Bucks right up there. 76ers, if Embiid was a little healthier, there could be definitely a threat up there, but as I said, I'm not really too high on the Knicks right now. I think, I'm obviously, they've exceeded expectations very much this season. And, I think they've had a great season so far, but I think the Cavs are a little better than them. Mitchell and just those two big guys, Mobley, I'm blanking on the other guy, Jared Allen. So they got a good guys. I was blanking on for a second. I mean, they got a couple big guys over there, Karis LeVert, got some bench guys, and George Niang. So, I mean, they got depth over there. They got a good team. I mean, this Magic one, Josh just throwing a little disrespect to the Magic. I don't know why he's always throwing a little disrespect to the Magic over there. Franz Wagner dropping 30 points on them on that second game. They've got so many top 5 picks. It was bound to do something. They got a ton of guys. I mean, Jalen Suggs. They got Markelle Fultz too. Markelle Fultz have a nice little rejuvenation over there. They got good depth. Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs, Gary Harris. We got a good little team over there. But I think ultimately Cavs, this one, that series, I could see that series going 7. I think each home team just wins a game and the Cavs ultimately just win 7. But yeah, I don't know, Josh. I don't know why you keep yelling at the Cavs. I think the Cavs are easily the second best team. But the Magic will make that a little interesting. I just want to give a little shout out to the Magic.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I don't know. Magic, yeah. I mean, to your point of the Knicks, I think that they exceeded their expectations too. I mean, there's been a lot of guys that they missed on. Markelle Fultz. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But a couple questions or comments here from Nick from Boston before we got to talk about the Lakers because that's been a team I've been all over. We'll preview a little bit more of the second round matchups and just a couple of thoughts and statements that I had for you guys. But Nick from Boston, who's been our guy. He's been through and through.
Shout out Nick C too.
Oh yeah,
Nick C.
Top commenter. Nick from Boston.
The Knicks.
I'm worried about the next few seasons with Kristaps being fragile as he is, and this is one that I agree with. They should also sign Derek White to a long-term contract. I would have rather prioritizing him over the Drew Holiday one. Ben, that's just my thoughts. And Nick from Boston, if you have been watching I know you said this is the first time, but I have been I was on the no Kristaps train. Now I'm kind of like, all right, I like it, but it's kind of a risk reward type of thing with him. It's very boom or bust. Boom or bust, I feel like is kind of the Kristaps thing. He's very injury prone, but at the same time, when he's out there, he's going to give you all he's got. He's going to give you the best that he can give. And I'm a big fan, but it's just it's a big issue of how fragile he is. And Derek White, I think, should be. They have to re-sign him. I mean, hopefully he doesn't ask for too much. And after getting a ring this year, if they do win a ring, dips. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but this is true. They did.
Yeah, listen, it's true, but I don't know, Nick. That one, I have to backtrack. That Robert Williams one, same issue, but I think just Porzingis just presents so much better of a team, just better chances of getting that title. I think he just elevates this team to a whole nother level when he's healthy. So why not? As I mentioned at the beginning of all this, if we just, I give a Marcus Smart for this, I'm totally fine with it. We've totally moved on from him. So this is really, as Josh said, boom or bust. I like that one, boom or bust for us. And it's been mostly boom. This year. And time he's been out in the regular season, at that 21-4 record without it, we didn't really miss a step. We improved in some aspects. So I like this team. I like having him here. I'm not too worried about it. I'm not worried about it comes with the territory with having Porzingis on the team. There's always going to be that injury concern. He's just fragile. He's just a unicorn. That's when he was coming out the draft, he was considered just a freak of nature, and that's just what he is. And unfortunately, his just body, the way he plays, it's just going to be very prone to injury. And with the talent around us, and to Nick's next point, I think having guys like Derek White and Drew Holiday. So obviously, I want to secure a long-term contract. I want to get that question out the way. Let's square that one away, but I think having those guys will just sort of solidify having Porzingis here and make this just a better process, better time. So we don't have to rely on Porzingis as much. So I'm not that worried about Porzingis. And give me Derek White versus that's actually perfect. There you go, Lewis. That's perfect. Give me Derek White versus everyone. Shout out to Lewis for that one. Derek White just exceeding expectations. Josh said he prioritized him a little more than Drew Holiday. I don't know. I think, to be honest, I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to play it easy, Josh. I'm going to say they're both even for me because both those guys.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, both those guys. Drew Holiday is what Tatum and Brown needed, and so is Derek White. They're just doing different aspects. So those ones, and no, Nick, no, I have not. It's a lot of money.
I have not either. Have you, Nick? That'd be sick if you have.
Prices are expensive though.
Yes, they are.
We were looking at some Bruins tickets too. I know it's not the Celtics, but Bruins, in the same regard, a Boston playoff team, pretty pricey. So you gotta have some money.
I feel like the Bruins ones can be, if not more expensive. He agrees. Too expensive. Yeah. Way too expensive. Bruins still down 1-0 right now with about 7 minutes and 41
we'll some live
seconds.
Updates there.
Counting. We got the live update.
Sorry, Zach. Like I said, we're not going to have that many people. Tough to compete, but we'll give some live updates.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Hopefully Zach's still in here watching. But let's get back to the NBA playoff bracket. We pretty much got through the Eastern Conference side of things. Let's take things over to the Western Conference. I couldn't have been any more wrong in my picks. I mean, I had the Thunder and Pelicans going 7. Complete sweep. I mean, I read way too much into that game 1. Completely wrong on that. Timberwolves, Suns. I'm very glad the Timberwolves won. I'm so sick of that whole star power team thing over there. I mean, the Timberwolves playing great. And to some people's points, I know a lot of the buzz right now has been about Anthony Edwards kind of being that next face, this charisma, this confidence that he's played with. Ben has just been unbelievable. He's been able to take that and accelerate to the next level. Super excited for that second round matchup, which, I mean, this is arguably conference finals showdown here we're getting. I think arguably could be the best 2 teams in the West. And of course, the Nuggets beating the Lakers. I think it was just a tough draw for the Lakers. I'll get off the screen for a second. They gave it all they could. Back and forth game last night. I was a little convinced, oh boy, if they do win that game and it comes back to LA for game 6, maybe. Didn't end up happening. I mean, LeBron James, it's back to the same carousel, kind of similar to the Cowboys shit show where, the world's falling now. Are they going to draft Bronny Jr.? Is LeBron James going to stay? I heard they want to offer him a 3-year, $156 million option. I mean, he wasn't. I'm seeing Barstool, and I know we're under the Barstool umbrella, but come on. Whoever posted that article about LeBron James choking you are a complete moron if you watch that series and you say it is on LeBron James. Like, that is insane to me. At the age of almost 40 years old, he averaged, I don't even know, Ben. I mean, I'm going to have to look it up for you guys. Insane to say that it was his. I mean, did anybody watch that game last night? I thought LeBron James was one of the sole reasons of keeping them in the game. He hit those 2 clutch free throws late in the game. He hit those. I know he took a couple shots that were kind of rancid, but aside from that, a couple step backs. Absolutely insane to say that he was the reason they choked. But again, I thought it was kind of tough draw for them. I think if they maybe matched up with a different team, I don't know, we're talking, but kind of just a recipe for disaster, Ben. Same old thing with the Lakers where, the injuries, Anthony Davis is coming out in the middle of the game. LeBron kind of gets hurt during the game. I'm not using that as an excuse. They lost to the Nuggets. The Nuggets were clearly the better team, but I don't know. To say that LeBron James choked, though, I was seeing those articles is insane. I mean, that's insane. Bruins scored 1-1.
Let's go.
Thank you guys. Let's
I
go.
have updates. Let's go. Love it.
Thank
Tie it
you,
up.
Mel. Thank you, Jeff.
That was huge. That was huge. Yep. Shout out to Mel and Jeff for that one. Let's go, Beast. Tie it up. Get that one out the way. We don't have to don't have to worry too much right now. We're still, exactly. I still want us worrying, but that's a little weight off our backs right over here. Nice tie game. So she got into the Bruins for that. But to Aiden's point, Aiden, I'll take a fillet fish. It's a little inside one. It's a little inside right there, I believe. But sorry to ruin Josh's party again on this one. Rain on his parade. I'll give all this weird cliches. But the Lakers stunk. The Lakers stink. LeBron, I'm interested to see where he goes. I think he might be on the move, Josh. I think he might be moving out of LA. I mean, yeah, it's not him. Yeah, LeBron didn't do anything in that series, too. You know, could he have been better? And sometimes, you know, people forget, hey, I mean, he did. You know, that first Jamal Murray, sort of game winner, that was the legit game winner. This one was in the first. This past one was in the final few seconds. But, you know, LeBron had that wide open three to put him up and win that game, basically, and sort of put it out of stretch for the Nuggets. They would have to hit a three, obviously, but, you know, that was pretty tough. It's a little tougher than Jamal Murray just going to work on AD and getting his own shot, forcing them to get a three, putting the pressure on them. LeBron missed that shot, but I'm not giving any blame. I'll give a little blame to him just for that one, obviously. But ultimately, this series is not on him. It's not on AD. It's not on Darvin Ham. It's not on anybody. The Lakers just aren't that good, Josh. The Lakers just looking at that West. You got the Timberwolves, Cat, AD, Gobert, just emerging team over there. As you point out, emerging superstar. And Anthony Edwards, who's taken over this playoffs, just made you forget about KD, Beal, and Booker. He just kind of put on a show over there. You know, OKC just with the youth just coming out of just everywhere at every position they've just built up for so many years, just kind of finally coming to fruition right now. Nuggets defended champions with Jokic and Murray. They're going to be a staple for many years to come. Mavs and Clippers, you know, the Lakers aren't even the best in their city, not even best in the state. So Lakers got a lot to worry about. Lakers just not good. Yeah, I mean, I know Josh would have been a little excited too, and the Lakers fans if they won this game. I think they would have won, you know, obviously Game 6. I think they would have beat them in LA, but I think they would have ultimately lost the series. Yeah, here we go, Lewis coming after the coach. Listen, the coach. Nah, I'm not gonna throw too much on him. Darvin Ham did his part. I don't know about the whole drawing up the plays. Yeah, I don't know. Taurean Prince took too many shots. I don't know why Taurean Prince has taken so many 3-pointers in that. Maybe that's on him. I don't know, but Golden State too. Golden State stinks now. Golden State's down. It's a change in the guard. I know I kind of mentioned that with the Lightning and the NHL switching to the NBA now. I mean, these teams, you know, like KD, LeBron, and Steph, these guys just, you know, their teams are just getting worse. The youth is taking over, and these teams have built up so many of these picks and stockpiled this talent. Josh is finally coming into fruition, and these OKCs and Minnesotas, even they shout out to the Mavs. I mean, the Mavs, Clippers obviously playing each other, but those are two tough teams out there. Mavs have Luka. So the Clippers have a good nucleus of Kawhi, Paul George, a little older, but I mean Harden, Westbrook. That's a good nucleus over there to contend with. It's just, you know, Pelicans even shout out to Zach again. I mean, the Pelicans, Williams, Zion, Ingram, CJ McCollum. Everyone's got these good nucleuses, and the Lakers really just have LeBron and AD. And I mean, D'Angelo Russell, who just kind of stinks. I know he had a couple good games, but the Lakers just, to Thomas's point, maybe not cut them, but maybe they just need to cut ties with each other and try to do each other the best of services, Josh, because I don't think they're going to be good with each other anymore. I think LeBron needs to move on.
We'll be there in a second, Thomas. We will be there in a second. We're kind of just wrapping up here on the NBA. I mean, just looking at Clippers, Mavs, I think that's going to be the best play. I know I was talking about hockey, Vegas Golden Knights, Dallas Stars, best series in the NHL. This one's the best series in the NBA. Clippers, Mavs. I think that's one that's going to come down to Game 7. I'm really torn. I lean Clippers, but I think it's closer than expected. I think this Game 5 is huge coming up. And then the one point I wanted to get to is how awesome would it be if it was Timberwolves, Thunder in the conference finals? I mean, that would be talk about actually going on to the younger guys. I know Jokic won his ring last year, and he's kind of been like, the new fresh stars coming in aside, Steph Curry, LeBron, KD. But aside from that, got some interesting matchups to look forward to. And I just wanted to put this one up here. 27 points per game. I mean, 30 the last 2 games. I mean, what else does he need to do at his age? I don't know. I didn't like that Barstool report saying that he choked. I mean, they're just trolling in that one for my but yep, Bruins on the penalty kill. And Jeff, we'll keep taking them. And hey, you're our turning point right now, Thomas. Have you talked to NFL draft yet? Let's hear the top 3 best teams and 3 worst, if not. Are we talking for the draft? Because, hey, guess what? I was actually going to turn over to Ben. I was going to show him this. I was going to show you guys this. This is the round 1 draft results. Just going off everything. We have Caleb Williams as a Bear. We've got Drake May to the Patriots. A wild stunner in Michael Penix there. I mean, neighbors. Ben, who do you think are winners and losers of the NFL draft?
I'm going to start off with a couple of winners, Josh. I know this has been I don't think they're the biggest winner. I know this has been highly contested and tightly contested. But I mean, the Chargers are winners. I think the Chargers are big time winners in this one. Getting Joe Alt, getting to protect Justin Herbert. I mean, that was the biggest thing with him these past 2 years. He hasn't played a full season these past 2 ones. Go get one of these all-time guys. He's going to be a Pro Bowler for many years to come. Reminiscent of Joe Thomas. And they got another wide eye. I know they were complaining, lost Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. Everyone's gone over there. Got Ladd McConkey, solid guy for Georgia. Really go-to guy for Sense Bennett and really some of these other Georgia guys over there. So I think for the Chargers, I think Chargers are one of the big winners over there. I mean, Commanders, Jaden Daniels, that was money. I'd like to see the Commanders just adding offensive line depth too, just killing it over there. And looking at some of these other teams, loser. I'm going to throw a loser in here because the third one, Josh, is just a little hitting close to home for my winner. I want to save my last winner, but big time loser, easiest one, Falcons. What are we doing? Don't get Michael Penix. I mean, what are we getting Michael Penix for? I know everyone's been coming out saying, maybe next year's class isn't that good. Maybe they were looking at that. But you got to get Kirk some weapons. And I know Kirk, hey, game manager at best, was won one playoff game coming off a torn Achilles. That's all right. That's all fair to say. And I agree with all that. But you got to get him some weapons. You can't just, it's the 8th pick. You really like Penix, maybe trade up to get him. I know, it was between, the Saints, not the Saints, the Broncos were eyeing him over there with the late teens pick. Maybe get ahead of them. There were some teams drafting in the late teens that didn't need a quarterback. Maybe go get some of those ones. Yeah, as Jeff said, Kirk's going to be so pissed, and he's going to be. I know he was a little confused with the pick that reports already come out with, but I'm confused with that one. I know they addressed some of the edge rushing issues later on, shored up some of those defensive positions, Josh. But I think overall for some of these losers, it's got to be the Falcons. I'm sorry, Atlanta, again, coming out for the Falcons, but you got to do better with that. Kirk, this is right off the bat. It hasn't really worked out in the past. We've seen, Rodgers worked out, but Jordan Love, Jordan Love's kind of working out now. It kind of takes a little while, but I kind of got to backtrack on that one. Jordan Love's actually kind of turning out all right now, but for Falcons and the Raiders too, Josh. Raiders stink. I don't know what the Raiders are doing.
James loved that Brock Bowers one. I'm just going to go back to this for a little reference.
You take it.
Sorry. I can go quick. We can go back to you. I thought the Ravens had a couple weird picks. I thought the Eagles did great. Jaguars had a pretty solid one. Bears, winners for me. You go out, you get your franchise quarterback. I completely forgot. They've still got Keenan Allen. They just got tied up Cole Kmet. They still have DJ Moore as well. And now what do? You go out and you get him a friend. You go get him a buddy, Caleb Williams, and that's Rome. They went out and they got Rome. I thought they killed it in the draft. Their 3rd round pick, pretty solid as well. JJ McCarthy to the Vikings, kind of an interesting one. We all thought that was going to get somewhere. Packers, I thought they did pretty well. I love that Jordan Morgan pick for them. Cowboys, kind of frustrated a little. Blake Corum, a couple good running backs on the board. However, I guess Ezekiel Elliott, we signed him. Nice little reunion. That's fine. But I'm interested in seeing a couple guys. I'm really interested in seeing Drake May, of course. I'm interested in seeing all those star wide receivers, from the Malik Neighbors to the Marvin Harrisons to the Romes to the Worthies to the Brian Thomas Juniors, because I've heard how great he is. I think I'm going to say this. I think the Patriots finally did the right thing. Charlie O'Donnell saying Drake May is the future. We've got best quarterback in the draft in Charlie O'Donnell coming in. Steelers had a very solid draft, not flashy though.
Yeah, that's going to be my last winner, Josh. My last winner over there. Steelers, I just, it was it. I know that's perfectly said too right there. That's what we needed, not flash. We've been flashy all these years. Really hasn't got us that many wins. We got enough flash with Pickens. We got enough flash with Pickens. He's one of the most talented guys out there. We'll let him be sort of the lead wide receiver, over there, lead workhorse. Let him get everything. Calvin Austin going to fit into that nice number 2. Hopefully he can ascend into that role. And we got those role players, Quez Watkins, Van Jeffersons, and I forget on that last guy, but there's another guy out there, Marquez Callaway. He's kind of forgetful, but I know Josh is going to look the other way. Everyone's going to look the other way when I mention those three
from the
guys.
Browns?
He's from the Saints, Marquez Callaway.
Oh,
yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
No, I know actually Antonio. That's a shout out to Florida. You're thinking of that guy, Antonio Callaway. That guy. I mean, my Florida ties, I would like that, but yeah, probably not over there. But yeah, I think the Steelers just killed it. I think we addressed everything. Troy Fontenot fallen. Yeah, he was a top 10 guy. Kuiper had him as a top 10 talent. Fallen to number 20 for us. Solidify that offensive line. Then go get another. Go get a center. I mean, that's what I really wanted. I know everyone saw our mock drafts. I want Jackson Powers Johnson out of Oregon, but you can't pass on Fontenot. We didn't think Fontenot was going to be there. Got to take that talent while he's there. Can't pass that up. Get center later on. I think Zach Frazier is going to be a nice little fit for us. He seems like a Steeler, nasty blocker over there. That's what Mel Kiper loves. I know she would like that one. She likes that. Again, Roman Wilson, one of the most underrated guys. This is going to be for Ray too. Payne Wilson. I actually interviewed him when I was at the ACC. Shout out to the ACC today. I remember interviewing Payne Wilson. Payne Wilson, Luke Kuechly saying is just, the faster, stronger version of himself. Not bad for a third-round pick. I'll take that. Get another guy, Mason McCormick, just another guard over there. It just was perfect. We need linebacker depth, too. TJ Watt's always getting hurt. I think this Payne Wilson kid's going to be a nice little gem that we're going to have. I love everything. Everyone's just been raving about him. So I'm excited for this draft. And I hate to be a homer, Josh, but I got to throw us in the winners. I got to throw us in there. So I like that one too. So I got the Commanders, Steelers, and Chargers as winners. And I'll tell you, Cardinals too. Trey Benson, I know that one's right there. Trey Benson, that was a huge pickup for them. Cardinals offense was sort of getting retooled over there. James Marvin Harrison Jr., nice. He's going to be that sort of number 1, obviously, for them, and giving kind of their little offense over there. But yeah, to be honest, Josh, I think they're really the only losers. The Bengals didn't really address that wide receiver. They got a guy in the 3rd round, but T. Higgins looming exit might be. I thought they might address it a little sooner, like the 49ers did with Ricky Purcell. But that actually kind of might have helped them out. Brandon Ayuk kind of wants to stay now a little more with him, college teammates. So might have done better for the 49ers. But to be honest, Josh, the only losers I see.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they played together at Arizona State. So Brandon Ayuk's actually pretty happy. He texted John Lynch, fire pick. I remember that. That's actually a real report too. I'm not just saying that. He texted John Lynch that. So, but yeah, ultimately, I think the real just 2 losers, Josh, are the Falcons and the Raiders. Because I know Jimmy loves that Bowers pick, but I'm confused. I don't know why we drafted Michael Mayer last year.
I mean, I think it's everybody talks about the Penix. I mean, that one was just head scratching. You still had a couple other quarterbacks there on the clock if you really want. I don't know what the hell they're doing. Maybe an extra weapon for whoever's there. I mean, that they will probably be one of the worst teams in the NFL this year. I can say that. And even just like their second round pick again. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know what the hell they were doing.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Third round.
Really make sense.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. The tight end one was so weird because they had a lot of question marks last year, and they went with Michael Mayer, who I thought was kind of a solid pick, but it hasn't really fully panned out. They go and they get another tight end this kid's been hyped up like Kyle Pitts was, so he better kill it. I mean, now he's walking into a tough situation, and I bet you he'll be traded out of that team before the end of his rookie contract, or asking for one at the very least. But again, a couple head-scratching moves, but again, another one. I've kind of switched up my tune a little bit with the Chicago Bears. I was leaning towards, I don't like this at all. Caleb Williams is kind of a head case. They don't have many weapons or options around him, but I think I completely digress on that. I think I love the Rome pick, and it's kind of more of a sexy pick. I know they could have went out and they could have got an offensive lineman and shored up a little bit more, protection for him. But hey, the Bengals didn't do that, and they panned out to be just fine. And they started. I know Joe Burrow hasn't fully been, but again, I like that pick for the Bears. I think they have a decent defense as well. They went out and got a couple other studs as well. I like the Bears. I think that they're winners in this draft. 2 first-round picks. And another little interesting storyline that not many people are talking about is the New England Patriots and I believe the Viking. There was another team called about Justin Herbert, and they said no. The Chargers were like, we're not doing it. So he was potentially talked about being traded, didn't end up happening. And no traded players this year. I know we talked about like Antonio Brown. There was a couple other guys who have been traded. I think was DeAndre Hopkins a draft night trade? I was going to say, I feel like the last few seasons or last few drafts, I should say, there have been big draft night trades for like receivers or just players in general, but none this year. And I'm okay with the Dallas Cowboys picks. Everybody's raving about their 3rd round pick, Cooper Beebe. They think potentially he could be a starter on their line this year, depending on how things work out, or just a good flex depth player who could get some big minutes in a couple seasons. I love the Tyler Guyton one. Again, I know some people saying he's unproven. We have to see a little bit more. I like it. He's one of the guys that they felt, and a lot of the writers and everybody said, hey, if he's on the Cowboys board, let's trade for him. What did they do, Ben? They did the smart thing. They traded a little bit further back, got a couple assets, made a couple picks, but kind of pissed they didn't get Blake Corum. I know everybody, maybe it'll work out, and maybe Blake Corum will kind of fan out, and maybe he'll be like another Cam Akers or some of those guys that, they draft these guys early and it doesn't pan out. But another sneaky good draft for the Rams. I thought they addressed some pretty decent needs there.
Yeah, no, I definitely for the Cowboys too. I want to give you a little.
I was right with this.
There we go. Yeah, shout out
that sounds familiar.
Shout out Chi on that one verification, but I want to give the Cowboys a little shine. I mean, I like what they did, like sort of what Chi's mentioned with the Steelers. Yeah, not as flashy. I got a wide receiver later on, but Guyton and that other guy, I didn't know the 3rd round guy was as highly praised, but I thought Guyton was a solid pick. And as Josh laid out, they did the smart thing. They didn't trade up. They waited, got some more assets. Usually they tend to sort of just pull the trigger a little too fast and try to get the guy, maybe give up a little too much. They did a good job with that, Josh. But yeah, just they got Zeke. Yeah, listen, that's what I wanted to talk to you about too. I wanted to take a little second, have you talk about that one because I was a little confused.
Money.
The money.
They have no money, Ben, and I guess they're going to run Dowdle. It's going to be Dowdle and Zeke. I mean, I hate to go into homer mode, but he knows the system. It's Dak's boy. Maybe that helps to encourage Dak to re-sign, which I don't even know if I want that to happen anymore. I don't know what the hell's going to happen. I know, I believe it was, Thomas. I almost wanted to call him Nicholas, like Nicolas Cage, but it's Thomas Cage.
Nick Cage.
We're getting Nicolas Cage, the actor, in here. But I don't know. Dallas, for me, They assessed. I wanted a lineman. I said that. I'm happy with that. They did a couple weird things in the later rounds in the drafts. They went out and they got another receiver later. That's fine. I mean, you can always use those pieces, but I don't know what the hell they're doing, Ben. I don't know what's going to happen with Micah. I don't know what's going to happen with CeeDee Lamb. I was seeing a video recently where he was at a convention talking about how he will be there. He will show up eventually. He is going to be in Dallas this year. He's the highest on my list in my priority level of paying. Then it kind of goes back and forth. But again, Lewis, they have no money. Maybe you run it back with Dowdle and him. Dowdle was okay. His injuries have always just kind of been a big concern of theirs. And I hate to say this, but I think that there's a real chance the Dallas Cowboys could miss the playoffs this year. I know Ben's going to scoff and people are going to go, what the hell? But I think that the sky's slowly starting to fall, and it's going to fall hard because looking at the end of the Tony Romo era, they hit on Dak Prescott. They hit on Ezekiel Elliott. They moved that in, and the window was there. I think the window is closing. As corny as that stupid phrase is, we've been saying that since the Tony Romo days, and I think it's finally coming there, Ben. And I believe that because you have to pay a quarterback, and it gets harder when you pay your quarterback. And two, they don't have it right now. It's aside from Dak, there's something lacking there. They don't have the coach. The owner's an idiot. It's tough to be a Cowboys fan. I'm going to keep it like that. I mean, I don't know. I think that bringing Zeke in was the only thing you had to do. I mean, I'd rather him out there than Deuce Vaughn or Malik Davis or Royce Freeman. Like, I don't know. This is what happens when you spend a lot of money, and it's just, it'll catch up to you.
Yeah, no, that's why I just wanted Josh's commentary on it. And we're wrapping up shortly over here. We'll give you their closing regards in a sec, but I don't know, Josh. I think it's looking tougher for CeeDee Lamb. I think CeeDee Lamb might be the odd man out, unfortunately. Against they're beefing up the offensive line. They obviously want this running game going, trying to make it easy as a guy, on Zeke. I mean, Zeke had an all right year for the past last year. Maybe get some reemergence from his old days. I know Lewis is going to kill me for this. Me defending Zeke a little, but it's honestly not the worst thing for the Cowboys. As we've all pointed out, and everyone knows, they got no money. So might as well bring in a guy that, you can start for you and you can split some carries with. This younger back. What was his name again, Josh? I forgot their backup's name.
Rico Dowdle.
Rico Dowdle.
Okay.
Thank you. Let's put some carries. Yeah, I mean, just again, you don't need. I mean, you're not going into that season starting with Rico Dowdle. So no offense to him, better athlete than I'll ever be, but you got to have somebody else. You got to have Zeke's the name behind him. So I think honestly, right now it's looking a little rough for CeeDee Lamb, Josh. I think CeeDee Lamb might be the odd man out, unfortunately.
Wow, he'd be high up on my priority list for sure. Maybe the top one, because then again, you have that wide receiver to kind of build around, whatever you end up deciding to do. Hey, maybe you view it like Ben. You go in on the quarterback, and then you got the quarterback to build around. You give him a crazy long deal. I don't know. The playoff record's got to come up in negotiations or some type of thing at some point. I digress. We are wrapping up here. I'm going to give you our last final thoughts of the night. We'll start with this from Fluto Shinzawa, who is one of the top beat writers for the Boston Bruins, coming out with a little tweet here. The Boston Bruins were outshot 30-7. Shot attempts, not shots on goal, but 30-7. This is a big thing for me. This is kind of a stat I really like, and I think that just goes to show Bruins need to get some shots on net. Ben, finish the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight. Celtics 2, roll into that second round. My blinkers aren't even on yet. I know that there was a little bit of worry here with the Miami Heat, and we were thinking, oh boy, same old Celtics. I don't think we have to worry. Patriots, I thought they got their guy. Drake May did a good job. Dallas Cowboys, we will be talking about them for the summer. But aside from that, Yankees, they got an interesting one against the Orioles. See if we can get a win tonight. Take that series. Orioles right on our back, and let's go Bruins. And thank you to everybody for tuning in.
Yeah, I'll echo all that. Shout out to Nick's, both first-time listeners. Welcome to the show. Nick from Boston. Shout out to them. Appreciate everyone commenting and listening. But Josh, I'll keep it short and sweet. Go Bees. Let's get it done.